We have Annie, who is like the tamest chicken ever. Then there is Muriel and Shabela and Lolita.
Oh,
Muriel died. Lolita is the other one.
Wow,
what
so
are we talking
cute.
about?
My chickens.
Oh, oh.
Oh, you know all their names. I just showed Catherine.
Nice. You guys have pets?
Yeah, we
Yes.
have 4 chickens, 2 guinea pigs, a cat, and 2 horses or ponies. We got a little Shetland pony and then a big gypsy.
Oh,
Oh wow.
wow.
Quite a lot.
That's so awesome. So for how long have you had them?
The chickens, we've had like several rounds of chickens since I was about 8, I think. So I'm 21 now, so that's like 13 years. And the horses we've had for about 4 years. Guinea pigs we've had again since I was like 7, but a few different ones. And then the cat we've only had for 4 months or so. So cute.
Wow.
Wow. That is awesome. Anyone else who has pets?
I have one cat.
Oh, nice.
You too?
No, I don't have any pets, but yeah, I would love to keep some pets one day. Like I had mice like few years
Yeah.
back, white ones, right? They are white in color. Yeah. So we had like 4 or 5. Yeah. But then like that was years back. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So you guys, for how long do you have you had your cat?
Um, mm, 5 years, yeah. But before I had another cat for around 10 years, yeah.
Wow. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, I love cats. They're just so sweet.
Maybe he shows up for yoga class one day. Sometimes he comes.
Oh.
Nice. Awesome. So let's begin today's session then. Yeah. Sit comfortably wherever you are. Keep the back and neck straight. And gently close your eyes. Bring the mind to the breathing. Just the natural flow of the breath as you are inhaling and as you are exhaling. Slowly begin to deepen the breathing. Just preparing the breath for the chanting of Om. We'll be chanting Om 3 times, followed by 3 Shantis. Inhale deeply for Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Just feel the vibrations. Join the palms together and rub the palms together. Keep them on the thighs. Very slowly, while blinking and looking at the palms, begin to open up your eyes. Start coming back with a smile. Namaste to everyone. Let us begin today's session. So today we are going to learn a new practice. And actually today we are, even though I'm introducing this topic to you, it's a practice that we will do today. Okay, so today we are going to talk about nadhishodhana. Nadishodhana. Nadhishodhana. And even though I'm going to talk about this today, the practical session is actually going to be a preparation for this practice. So what we are going to do in the practical, it's just a preparatory practice. Okay, because Nadi Shodhana is again very advanced level practice. Okay, so first there are certain stages in which I will introduce this to you. So today, the part that I will introduce, it's actually a pre-practice. Okay, so first let me begin with the name only, Nadi Shodhana, or in English we call it alternate nostril breathing, right? And there is another name that you come across. Okay, Anulom Vilom. ANULOMAVILOM, right? So Anulom Vilom we will talk about tomorrow. We will practice Anulom Vilom tomorrow, right? But Nadi Shodhana and Anulom Vilom are different. Basically, that is why I wrote down these two names for you, because generally, they are confused, like they are one. Okay. So these are different practices, but Nadi Shodhana is again more advanced. Anulom Vilom comes before that. Okay. So just one step, they're like two levels of the same video game. You can say that thing. First you do one and then you do the other, right? The Anulom Vilom practice, it will prepare you for Nadi Shodhana, right? So first thing that I would like to begin with when I introduce this topic, this is not a pranayama, okay? This is a preparatory practice for pranayama. Nadi Shodhana is preparation, okay, for pranayama practices. So modern yogis, they have, like, when you listen to them, they call it a pranayama. But when you go to Hatha yogic texts, the main place from where all these practices are coming, over there, this practice is mentioned before the discussion of pranayamas. Right? This practice is going to prepare you for it, like you did abdominal breathing, thoracic breathing, clavicular, yogic deep breathing. Yesterday we covered. So, like that, Nadi Shodhana is done before the practice of pranayam. It is not a pranayam practice. So, we have already we already discussed what Nadi is, right? Nadi is the energy channels, like I told you, arteries and veins. So energy is also carried through some vessels in, like, in the body, and those energy channels, or you can say vessels, those are the nadis, right? And Shodhana, this term means purification. So now from the name itself, you are understanding that you are actually cleaning something, right? You're purifying something. And you are purifying the energy channels, right? Yesterday also when I was teaching yogic deep breathing, I told you that yogic deep breathing can be used for relaxation, but pranayama is done in relaxation, right? The same way. Nadi Shodhana is used to purify the energy channels, right? And pranayama is done once the energy channels have been purified. It's not a way of purification of the energy channels, right? It's like, if you are leaving from here and you want to go somewhere, right? And you take a particular route, right? So it's like, if the energy channels are not cleansed, it means that there is a lot of traffic on the route, right? So you will have to, the same process that you are doing of going from here to that location, so it will require much more time and effort, right? Because the road is not free of traffic, right? So of course, first thing, when you want to go from one place to the other and you want to reach quickly, so you just check Google Maps, right? And you look at a time when the roads are not congested, right? And if at that point of time they are congested, maybe if you have the option, you try to avoid moving during that time, right? So same thing, if the nadis are blocked, then pranayama is all about, when you breathe in a particular manner, then the prana is moving in a different manner. So prana won't find that movement because the pathway is blocked, right? So it won't be able to move, right? So first you need to cleanse the pathway, right? Like you need to clean the pipe, right, so that the water can flow, otherwise it will get clogged, right? So same thing, that is why Nadi Shodhana is not a pranayam, it is a pre-practice to that. Because once I ensure that okay, I have cleaned the pipe, and then I turn on the water, right, so water will immediately flow out, right? There will be no issue, right? So same thing, when you clean the energy channels, then pranayam will have a completely different impact. So right now, if you do pranayam, pranayam will have different impact. But once the nadis are cleansed, right, then you will see pranayam practices are much better. So that is why I said pre-practices are very important, right? Pranayam will only give you good results when you have mastered the pre-practices, right? Nadi Shodhana is given so much relevance that they say that if you perfect Nadi Shodhana, then you don't even need to go into the practice of pranayam, right? Because whatever you are aiming for through pranayam, that can be achieved through Nadi Shodhana. That is how important Nadi Shodhana is considered to be, right? So it doesn't mean that you are constantly preparing yourself and you are just like, oh, this is not happening, this is not happening. Nadi Shodhana in itself, if you just perfect, it is said that the final goal, so final goal of pranayam is, I told you, the automatic retention that comes up, right? So just by the practice of Nadi Shodhana, you can reach that stage. That is how beneficial and important it is. That you can skip the entire, like, pranayam practice. You will achieve the goal. No need. Why make an effort, right, when you don't need it, right? So same. So this practice in general, you will see, you will really love it when you guys practice this. And even today, when we do the pre-practice, you guys will feel very, very like, you know, energized or calm down, like energized in the sense that you will not feel chaotic, right? But there would still be, you will still not like, you will still be active. So activity will not go down, but calmness will set in. Even today's practice, you will feel good when you do it, right? So this is again, this is in all the Hatha texts, you will see this is mentioned before pranayam practices always, right? So when we do the final stage, then I will tell you the actual practice, okay, which is the authentic practice given in Hatha texts, right? Main practice. But before that, we are going to prepare for this because this is again a very um, critical process that we are undertaking, basically, in order to reach towards working with the prana, right? So there are few things that you have to take care. So from today onwards, all the practices that we do, they're going to be in sitting posture. Okay, so before this, you can lay down and do those practices. But starting from Nadi Shodhana, these practices, all of them are done in sitting posture. Okay. So first point for us is this thing, right? Spine needs to be straight. Okay? Then the next thing is in Nadi Shodhana, there is a specific hand position that you need and that you will need for even today's practice. Okay. So there are two practices basically. So I will just so Pranav, Pranav. Pranav Mudra, one thing is this. And then we have the Nasagra Mudra, Nasagra. Nasagra Mudra, Mudra. So this hand position is going to help you to perform some pranayams also, right? So today we will just learn about the relevance, why we are forming this hand position. First thing is we always form this hand position with right hand. Okay, so this is always done with right hand, and as I tell you the relevance, I will explain why specifically the right hand. Okay? because these days, sometimes when people get tired from one hand, so instructors, they say that switch, use the other hand, but the other hand cannot be used. Only this hand can be used. Okay. So I'm going to give you proper reasoning. First, let me just demonstrate. So Pranav Mudra is when you first fold the first two fingers, place them on the base of the thumb and this. Yes, exactly. Yeah. This is your first one. First two fingers, just fold them and place them on the base of the thumb. This is your Pranav Mudra. Okay. And the other one, second one, Nasagra Mudra that I've written. So some people find this very hard, right? And it pains, right? So you can also place the first two fingers on your eyebrow center, right? Over here. And then again, the main purpose is that your thumb, ring finger, and little finger, they remain free. Okay, so I can either do this, yes, or I can do this and bring it close, right? So when you place your hand also, then again, some people, they place it too much away from their body. So this, leads to pain in the shoulder. Shoulder goes up and elbow is too far off, right? So just ease this in, right? And you can just keep it close to your body, right? When you move the hand, you can keep it close to the body, because if you get your hand close to the body, your shoulder goes down, right? And you are much more relaxed. So it's easier to hold this position, right? Yeah, if you try like this, yeah, it strains, it starts straining. And then when you do like this, it's easier, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean that you strictly stick to this, right? Because when you will take full breath, so during all these practices, you will take full breath, right? Yogic deep breathing. You can suspend the clavicular breathing, right? But chest and abdominal will remain. So if you keep it too close, you will block, right? And if you keep it too far off, you will cause yourself some pain. So just the app distance which feels natural to you. Naturally, you will find this position for yourself and which you're able to perform this for a longer period of time, right? So these two hand positions are whichever one you like. Again, you can go ahead and adopt that one, whichever one you're more comfortable in, right? So now why only the right hand? Okay. So each and every finger represents, so we have 5 fingers and there are 5 elements with which everything around you is formed, right? Even science acknowledges this thing, right? So these 5 fingers, they represent the 5 elements, okay? So a thumb represents the fire element, okay? This is the fire element, right? Then if you come to the index finger, this is your air element, okay? I will also write it down. Then this one, your middle finger, is the ether or space. So let me just write this down also so that you guys don't miss. Middle one is your ether. Right? And then we have the ring finger. Ring finger represents the earth element. And then your little finger, this one represents your water element. So fire, air, space, earth, and water, right? So when you do mudras, join some tips together, again, you are joining some elements, right? Or if I take it down, I'm suppressing some element, right? So this is basic of mudras, right? Hand mudras, basically. So now you guys know what elements you are dealing with. So any mudra, if anybody tells you about any mudra, so you can at least make some sense. Okay, I'm joining, like in Chin mudra, I'm joining air and I'm joining fire. Okay, this is the position. So just a little bit glimpse into the hand mudras also for you. Like because on this basis, different elements are combined. Okay, so right hand is used because when you fold the first two fingers, or when you place the first two fingers on your forehead, then you will see the thumb will close the right nostril, right? And either you can use your ring finger, or you can use a combination of the ring and little finger, whichever one you are comfortable with. Some people just find using the ring finger to close the left nostril better. Some find both the fingers together. So this also you will figure out for your own self, right? However you are comfortable, right? So it's necessary that the thumb closes the right nostril. Why? Because right nostril represents the sun. Okay, when I take the class on Hatha Yoga, I will explain this thing. Okay. So fire or sun elements, sun is represented by the right nostril, and your coolness or moon, that is represented by the left nostril. So you cannot close the left nostril if you do the same mudra with your left hand. You can try also and just bring it close and then do this mudra. So now you're using fire to close what? Something that is cold, right? And then you are using the cold elements to close the fire side, which is opposite, right? So it will have opposite impact. So when people ask to switch the hand, because your hand gets tired, right? So you cannot form mudras like that, because when you do mudras, you're connecting some energy together, right? You're connecting two things together. Suppose the connecting two wires together, basically. Okay, if they are not compatible, they will not work, right? It will not work. You can join the wires, you can form the mudra with the left hand, but when you form this thing, then the energy channel is not completed, energy will not flow that way. So hence, if people get tired, ask them to relax their hand and then again use the right hand only, because you are closing the hot thing with the fire element only, and then cool thing with the like earth and water element, which is very essential, right? If you join two, again same thing, if I join two wires and I pass electricity through them and they are not like compatible or something like that, I don't know too much about it, but yes, I mean, I just understand that if two things, even if you want to make two things work together, joining the wires and they are not compatible, then energy, electricity will not flow through that, so your target will not be achieved, right? And mudras are actually, closing. It's like a circuit. You close a circuit. So if you do it with the opposite hand, again, right? If try it with your left hand, seriously, just see for yourselves that you will automatically it becomes. Yeah, this will not be possible. This is possible. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so whenever you do any kind of pranayam which requires this hand position, ask your students to rest their hands when they feel tired. Don't ask them to change their hand and use the other hand, right? Because it will, again, it will work on a very subtle level. You will not realize it, your student will not realize it, right? And there are a lot of variations also going on, related to these mudras. So just stick to the because people don't know why they are changing the hand position, right? But they are changing it because it is easier. So one thing I heard, one time I was taking one exam, and one time, I heard this thing. So one of my students, what they did was they put their first two fingers over here, and then they folded these two fingers, right? And then they closed the left nostril with this portion, right? So again, it was easier. If you guys also do it, you will feel you don't have to do much work. It's easier, right? And this variation is going on. I'm not like just taking up this example like that. This variation is going on. But when you do mudras, you generally, joint tips only. most of the times you are joining the tip, you will see, because that is where the energy is escaping from, right? So you're trying to circle it back. But because this is more convenient, people have started doing this thing. This variation is going on. And this does not fulfill the purpose of why you are doing this mudra, right? So you have to be careful because these days, all the variations are going on. So you need to know which ones are like which ones have some backing or sourcing, because then you will become teachers, then your students will come and ask, okay, where is this variation from, right? And then you will get confused, where is it from, right? You won't be able to answer, right? So it's good to have a backing or a back source for your practices, because yoga is something which which is changing as people are taking it forward, right? So they are adding what they understood and their own variations. So that we are not capable of doing that. Maybe somebody who has experienced, they can introduce variations like ashtang vinyas style that you do. So the yogi who introduced this, he first practiced the conventional style, then he thought that he could add some variation, and he knew if you go to that person, even though he is not with us anymore, if you go to such gurus and you talk to them, they will tell you the exact difference that is coming from when they introduce the variation and the original practice. But we don't know. We just ask them to change the position because it's more convenient, right? So we don't know what kind of impact we are causing, which again will only bring question to your credibility when you teach, right? Because right now you're students, but then you'll become teachers, right? So all the questions that you guys ask me, all those questions your students will ask you, right? So then it becomes little bit problematic, right? So always stick. I'm not saying variation is not okay, as long as you have some backing for it, right? Then you can go ahead and introduce that variation. It's totally right, all right, right? Any doubt in this? Did you miss out on
So when I take the left hand and do it instead of this way, like this, what is the like? Okay, now I have this thumb here, and these fingers here, but it's also not possible.
Yeah. So if
why?
you cannot do this first thing because both the things can be practiced and you will introduce both. So this is not possible, right? Second thing, when mudras are formed, again I told you there is some lock that is being formed. Like when you do Gyan mudra, okay, or when you do this one. Okay, so let me just this. When you do this, okay, so now most people, when I teach this also, I say, okay, one energy channel is being formed over here, right? But one energy channel is being formed here also. Why are you placing the hands on the knees, right? Because there is some energy that you are also locking over here, right? So when you reverse this again, this when you place it like this, there is some I don't know exactly what. I will tell you this much, I will be very honest. Not I don't exactly know how the loop is being formed. But there is a reason why this is used and not this. Okay, there is some energy lock which is only formed with this position. When the first two fingers they go down and they come over here, there is some loop that is completed, right? So even though this is, and this is more difficult also, if I also try this, it is harder, right? So both the things that there are some energy. So this one, like I knew, so I could give you an example to explain the other thing. But honestly, I don't know exactly what point is being connected, but there is some connection. That is why these things are passed down, like they are not changed. You will see generally, traditional schools, they don't change practices because they're not questioning how it is, why it is done this way. We are questioning why it is done this way, right? But the more you practice, the more you will get you will find your answer. Basically, the question you have asked me, maybe someday you will be answering. You won't need an answer from me, right? But I can only draw an analogy through another example that I know, that there must be some reason, right? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So today what we are going to do is a pre-practice, like I told you. So today what we are going to do is we are just going to close one nostril and just inhale and exhale through the other. So inhaling through the left, then exhaling through the left. So we are not alternating for now. Okay. Alternate tomorrow what we will do, that you guys will experience that we are switching the nostrils. But today one side only, inhale, exhale. Right, and then we will change. So we will close this, open the other side, and inhale, exhale from this side only. This is a preparatory practice. This preparatory practice is done why? Because Nadi Shodhana also again requires that the flow of both the nostrils is open, right? So sometimes you will see, because of cold and everything, and nose gets blocked. So before you enter into this practice, you just need to make sure both the nostrils are freely flowing. So this practice ensures that both the nostrils are flowing freely, right? And it also helps to balance them out, right? So one, maybe you will feel when you do this practice, one side maybe you will yourself feel it is little bit constricted, right? Other one you are able to do easily. So this practice helps you to balance out this flow in the breathing process so that you can get ready for Nadi Shodhana, right? This practice should not be done if somebody has cough, cold or fever, okay? Because nostril is completely blocked, right? So there is no point. If you are someone who has a lot of blockage in the sinus area, nostril region, this entire area, right, you can also practice Jal Neti, right? There is a cleansing practice in your course, right, which involves using water, saline water, which is at body temperature, right? And you pour that uh, the water from one nostril and it escapes through the other. So JALA, Jal Neti, NETI. So you can also do this first and then do this practice. It definitely, for people who feel as if the sinuses are very, very blocked. So first you can make them practice Jalneti and then you can introduce this pre-practice and then you can take them till the practice of Nadi Shodhana, right? Again, the aim of this practice is to have more controlled breathing, right? And also to ensure that both the nostrils are flowing freely so that you can go for advanced practice. These are the two main targets that are there when you do this practice. Okay. So one more thing. So when generally students they alternate between the nostrils. So right now we are not alternating, but just I'm telling you. So one side also when you do. So what students do is they press the side they have closed too much, right? So my nose will come at an angle, right? This little bit angle when I place too much pressure. So when you guys do this thing, so when you do this thing, you are also indirectly blocking the one that you are using because you are placing too much pressure and that leads to a tilt, right? So the other nostril on which you are working, it gets blocked. Little bit, only little bit. You will not even feel it, right? But it gets blocked, right? So the touch of the hand should be just as much, like the pressure should be just enough to close the required nostril, not to affect the other, right? So gently place your hands, very gently you have to do the switching, not where, like if you place too much pressure, then the other side also gets impacted. Okay, so you have to be careful about this thing when you do this practice. So today's practice is clear to everyone. One side we are going to just inhale exhale, then we are going to switch inhale exhale, before this we will do some abdominal breathing, just so that the mind also becomes calm, and then we will switch to this practice. Okay, so just follow my instruction. I will be guiding you throughout the practice. Sit comfortably wherever you are. Keep your back and neck straight and very gently close your eyes. And just bring the mind to the natural breathing. Slowly turn your attention to your body. Just make sure that you are aligned properly. And come back to your breathing. Begin to gain a little bit control over your breath and deepen the breathing process. We'll begin with abdominal breathing. So if you feel the need, you can place one hand on your abdomen. And if you are already, if your mind is focused, you can just observe the abdomen moving in and out as you are inhaling and exhaling. Go for slow, long, and deep breaths when you do abdominal breathing. When you inhale, your tummy should come out. And as you exhale, the abdomen should move in, and take your navel as close to the spine as possible. Go for a few rounds of abdominal breathing and keep the mind focused on the movement of your abdomen. After completing your current round, go for 3 more slow, long, and deep abdominal breaths, and then suspend the practice. Just observe the natural flow of your breath. Keep the mind focused on the abdomen. Just see the impact of the abdominal breathing. Bring your right hand close to your nose. Either fold the first 2 fingers and place them near your nose, or you can place the first 2 fingers on your eyebrow center. Close the right nostril with the thumb and begin to inhale and exhale through the left nostril. Go as per the pace of your breath. Don't force anything. Just try to keep the inhalations and exhalations equal. Inhaling and exhaling to the left nostril. After exhaling completely through the left nostril, close the left nostril either just with the ring finger or with the ring and little finger, and open up the right nostril and begin to inhale and exhale through the right side. After exhaling completely from the right nostril, you can bring your hand down, keep the back and neck straight, and simply observe how you're feeling after this practice. What observation did you make during the practice? Just come back to your natural breathing and keep observing. Was one nostril blocked, or was it harder to inhale and exhale through one side? We will end today's session by chanting one time, followed by 3 shantis. Inhale deeply for Om. Shanti. 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 Join the palms together in front of the chest. Let's just bow down. Take a few moments to feel grateful for the food, clothes, shelter, all the facilities, all the people that we have in our life. Have the palms together. Place them on your eyes. One more time. Strap the palms together properly. Generate heat between both the palms. Keep them on the eyes. Very slowly, while blinking and looking at your palms, start to come back. Spread this energy on your body. Namaste to everyone. Any doubts from anyone? Any difficulty that you guys faced?
No, just my right nostril was a little blocked, but by the end of the section, it gets better. The flow got better.
Exactly. So we will do this before in tomorrow's and day after tomorrow's class also. 3 classes we'll take for these entire practices. So we will do this every day before we go into the practice. So you will see this thing, how it supports your practice. The next. Okay. Sorry, electricity just went out. So okay, are there any doubts though? Did you guys were able to practice? Awesome, great. So we will meet tomorrow and we will go into the next stage of this practice tomorrow. So take care, bye bye, enjoy your break, and I will see you all tomorrow for your philosophy class. Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.